Phil, through 10 days of camp.
Far away.
Go ahead.
Okay. With the quarterbacks, what we're getting from Coach Brown is that they're still kind of even. Is this a situation where they're all progressing at the same rate, or it's up one day, kind of down one day, and they're all sort of following that same track?
You know what? To be honest with you, I would have hoped maybe we're starting to have a little bit of a pecking order, but they're competing their tails off right now. So we've got a three-man race for the Q spot, and that's why you see everybody getting even reps. And I like where we are in day 10 progress-wise with all three quarterbacks.
At what point was the offense fully installed, and how important was it to get it installed as soon as possible? Because you got to figure out what these guys are doing.
Regarding offensive installation, we put the package in, we put the offense in, the system in the first 4 days. You're never good at it the first 4 days, so we reinstall it. So it's kind of a second phase. So days 5 through 8, we reinstalled it. And those are the 4 days where you get to go back and make the corrections, rehash, polish. And so from practice 9 on, we're working on situational offense, and we're working on our game plans for the first opponent of the season.
From my understanding, you guys had your first scrimmage this past weekend, correct?
We had our first scrimmage on Saturday.
What did you learn out of that scrimmage when it comes to each of those quarterbacks?
With regards to the quarterbacks, it's the same thing as with the team. We go into the scrimmage really trying to focus on the things that we weren't doing well. So in effect, we ran a lot of plays that maybe we weren't executing as well as some others in an attempt to polish them up and make those corrections. And so we got a lot accomplished in our first scrimmage, and I think the same holds true with the three quarterbacks.
What do you want to see from the quarterbacks that will show you that one is taking a step up? Like, what do you want from them?
Well, yeah, of course, you want them to execute the offense. You want them to make good decisions. We want them to grip and rip the football quickly because we don't want to hold that and stress the offensive line. We want to make good decisions when we're running the ball. And I think our quarterbacks are doing that. This is a very, very intelligent room that I have. I'm very fortunate. All three guys are really bright. They grasp the offense. They understand it. And I think ultimately the thing that will separate one from the others will be securing the football, and it'll be the leadership piece of this whole package.
When you're dealing with about the running back group, because I mean that's one of y'all strongest groups on the team, and you've always preached about how the air raid, you guys like to throw the ball, but you're going to run the ball too. How excited are you with the?
Well, I don't always preach about how strong the football. I say most of the time that the words air raid really refers to our philosophy when we throw it. We want the running game to be as prolific and as efficient as our passing game. So as an offensive coordinator, even for Coach Ciro's our O-line coach, for Coach Gillespie, our running backs coach, we are excited about the depth that we have in the running back room. You want to keep that depth healthy, and we plan on using all of the guys that we have in that room.
Do you think that group kind of takes the pressure off that quarterback position just because there's some question marks going into the season?
Oh, there's no question. When you have three freshman quarterbacks, no matter how good they are, you can have a veteran senior quarterback. You always want a good RB room, and an effective RB room will always take pressure off the quarterback and the offensive line.
Phil, when you're dealing with multiple quarterbacks competing for a job, and you're trying to prepare one guy to be a starter, I guess ideally you'd like to be able to whittle it down maybe to two, and then one, get the guy as many reps as you can. Are they getting enough to sort of prepare them when you're kind of splitting reps between three guys?
That's a great question. There's actually a lot of time in camp. We're not in school right now. We have a lot of meeting time. We have a lot of walkthrough time. And so we meet as a quarterback group, and we do everything that we need to. But all three quarterbacks are different, and you want to address their needs or the issues that they have separately. So we'll meet as a quarterback group, and then I'll meet with each one of them individually, and we'll address that as if they were the starter.
Phil, Mac has talked a lot about the similarities of the quarterbacks and teammates have as well. Can you kind of walk us through some of the differences with those three guys?
Sure. The similarities obviously are how intelligent they are, how they manage it. I think right now, leadership-wise, they're all on the same page. Cade Fortin is probably our best pure passer. Okay, if you want me to differentiate, Jace Reuter might be the best overall athlete of the three, and Sam may be the best combination of the two. Maybe not as pure a passer as Cade or as much of a runner as Jace, but he can do a little of both. So that's kind of, if you really wanted me to differentiate between the three, that's how I would do it.
Phil, at Ole Miss, you had a lot of explosive players, a lot of great athletes there. UNC struggled with explosive plays last year. So what's been the strategy to probably get that up to par?
Ole Miss was a different team, and so we addressed the strengths and the weaknesses of that team one way. We have strengths here, we have weaknesses here, and really the strategy is let's find a way to get the ball to our guys that have the most talent and space, And we're not going to lean on a younger guy or a less experienced guy or a less athletic guy until he's ready to play and do the things he needs to do on the field. So we're trying to figure out what our personality is. We know we want it to be. I think we're starting to figure out what we're going to be able to do well. And so we're working on getting that better for the opener.
Your offense has got a great red zone percentage. What makes a good team in the red zone?
Well, I think what makes a good team offensively anywhere is talent, and we do have some. And from a staff standpoint, we got to make sure that our best talent is touching the football when we get down to the red zone. And scheme is a part of it. Physicality is a huge part of it in the red zone. But at the end of the day, you have a much better chance at getting the ball in the end zone if your best athletes are touching the football.
Do you have to? Was your 8th practice when you had the scrimmage? Were you pleased at that juncture with how fast that they're picking up on everything, getting into each play after?
I think the first level guys are really ahead of where we want to be in day 10 today. I think the second level guys are probably right about where you would expect them to be. And then obviously the young guys are getting less reps, and you're trying to pull them along as much as possible. But right now in camp with where we are, and as of day 8 and 10, I like where we are offensively.
Is there a challenge in meeting your demand and the speed when you're using 3 different quarterbacks, or is the offense and it doesn't really matter which one?
Now, you know what? We're getting enough reps right now that they get the work they need. And I don't know how much practice you see, but the 2 of them that are not in, they're always behind the offense, and they're going through the rep athletically anyway. So they're getting the mental rep, even so far as to fake the throw. So if we have 16 plays and we're sharing them with 3 guys, they're still all getting 16 mental reps. And then the individual meetings off the field, I think that's keeping us where we need to be mentally.
Personal question for you as far as what enticed you to come in take this job under Mac Brown, and so far has it met the expectations of why you wanted to take this position?
I said in the spring there was a few reasons. I think on the personal side, quality of life for your family doesn't get much better in Chapel Hill, and just the state of North Carolina in general. So that really, it sounds like rhetoric, but it's not. That was a huge attraction coming here. The second thing is the resources here to win have always been here, and they're here now, and it's going to be our job to take those resources and make the most of it. But the biggest reason, and my wife and I flew out here to meet with Mac Brown and Sally Brown, and after 48 hours with Mac Brown, you don't tell that man no. And I think if I was really being honest, Mac Brown is the #1 reason why I came to North Carolina.
Do you have to preach patience with the quarterbacks not to, they want to know who's going to be the starter as much as anybody does. Do you have to kind of tell them, hey, relax, just take each rep, or are they handling that themselves well?
You know what? Not one guy yet has asked anything about it. I think they know what our plan is. They know what the routine is, and they know what reps they're getting. And so right now they're all just focused on trying to make the most of those reps. And the time that will come where we're going to declare a starter, and then we'll address it 1, 2, and 3 with all of them accordingly.
Bill, have some of the issues with the drop passes, has that started to improve?
Oh, it has. Coach Galloway has done a great job emphasizing that. Sometimes you don't even have to have a lot of drop passes. You can just have 1 or 2 key drops in a game, and that can change the outcome of a football game. That's been emphasized. We do a lot of ball drill stuff preseason. They did a lot of stuff in the summer, and I think we're catching the ball a lot better right now than we were in the spring.
Why is tempo important to you?
We don't go fast just to go fast, and we're not going to go fast all the time. But tempo gives us an advantage at times because the offense is a little simpler. At least we're presenting it simpler. It's easier to learn on our end. We want to try to be as multiple to the defense as we can, and then tempo just gives you an extra little bit added advantage.
And what about the calling in the plays? Guys talk a lot about you only calling the play once and have them go. What's the idea behind that approach?
Really, if just 3 guys on the offense get the play, they're all going to communicate out there, and they can do that faster than 5 of us trying to re-signal something on the sideline. So we knock it out one time, they communicate it, they'll line up, and we won't snap it until we've got 11 guys on the same page.
Do you do the same thing during the games, or is that just a training camp type?
No, that's how we do it all the time.
You talked about finding the identity of the team. What do you see that becoming? What direction is that going?
Well, especially the last few days, Coach Brown has noticed, we've all noticed, I think we're starting to become more physical, which is what we wanted. We're getting some of the physicality out of the O-line and the tight ends, no question that we wanted to. And as that evolves, you start to learn what your strengths are going to be, and that kind of dictates what your personality will be going into the season.
What do you like about the wide receiver room and you guys standing out, and what are some areas you think these guys can improve on? you have enough receivers to run this offense?
We have enough. I think we're very young at receiver. We're very young at quarterback. We're very young on the offensive line, and that bodes well for us in the future because as these guys develop, we're going to be a veteran-laden team in the next couple of years. In the meantime, we've got to find a way to get it done with these freshmen, and so we have some very, very athletic receivers, the guys that you asked about, that can make plays in space. We have a few guys that are a little bit longer, and then they're doing a lot with that frame right now, so we're happy. And then we have some guys that, if we can get the ball to them in some open grass, they have some explosive ability, Daz Newsom being one of them. So that'll be the plan with the receiver room. I think our maturation process at receiver between now and the opening game is probably the biggest focus.
Is there a freshman that really stands out to you right now?
No, De'Ami Brown is not a freshman, but he's the one that stands out in terms of being the most veteran-oriented looking. His younger brother, Chafrey, is a freshman that shows a lot of athletic ability. But Daz has had a good camp. Toe Groves has had a good camp. Antoine Green is back and doing some nice things. Emery Simmons is a freshman that has shown probably the most improvement from the spring into the fall. I think the players appreciate how hard he's worked, so we're just going to let that play out. It's not hard picking starters. They decide that for themselves.
Nick and Charlie said that the goal going into the opener is to have at least 8 offensive linemen play. Are you at a point right now where you feel like you have 8 guys that you can trust in a game situation like that?
I think out of the number that we have in the offensive line room, Stacy is trying to figure out who those 7 or 8 best guys are right now. And you know, the other trick with an offensive line is what's your best combination front 5, and then who are the next 2 or 3 in, and where do they go? And he's done a really good job of creating some continuity up front, and you know that'll be our focus from here through South Carolina. It's just locking in our front 5, and then knowing who's the 3rd tackle, who's the 3rd guard, who's the backup center. That's kind of where we are right now. We probably are happy with 4 or 5 of the 8.
You mentioned just all that youth on offense to have the experience you do at tight end now. Just how valuable.
Well, you're right there. We have a very experienced running back line, but we also have you know, a very athletic, I think, a very dangerous, very prolific tight end in Carl Tucker. And then, you know, what Coach Brewster has done with Jake Vargas, it's really, you know, I got to credit Jake with, he's one of the hardest working guys on the team. He's a leader, both by example, you know, I think, and vocally. And so we have a little bit of depth in the tight end room, and I'm excited about those 2 right now.
All right. Are you going to be in the booth or on the field? Sorry.
I will be on the field.
On the field there.
Yes, sir.